Mama's Code.
Welcome back, guys.
I'm Erika, and
we are still Mama's Code.
Yeah, and we're so sorry we left so abruptly. It wasn't our intention.
We like to keep you on edge.
No, and life just gets to us at times, you know. We sometimes feel like we can cope with everything that we're going through, and like work, kids. We had something going on every single weekend, didn't we? Like literally back to back. It was like one thing after the other.
Literally, this summer was actually so busy.
And we always talk about, you know, taking time out for yourself, not trying to like burn yourself out. And then there was times where I was like to Jess, should we just take a break? And she'll be like, no, I'm fine. And then she'll see that I'm stressed. She'll be like, do you want to take a break? And I'll be like, no, I'm fine. And then we kind of like, no, we're clearly kind of sending signals to each other. And then Jess messaged me once, and then she was just like, you know, we're taking a break. And I was like, okay,
I'm done. Like you were saying, we were so tired. And I know personally, I was very emotional. I had emotionally abused myself to the last strand that I had in me. And I feel like we always like to come here with like positive, high energies. And it was literally like, hey mamas. So obviously we don't want you to hear that on Monday mornings, do we?
No, definitely not.
But we are back full of energy. We've had a great summer. As you all know, Erika cursed us with the wettest summer ever. Thank you, Erika.
You're welcome. I mean, I didn't, and I feel like I've just stopped posting on Instagram for that specific reason. That one post, I barely post. Literally, I barely post. And then that one time, I was just sick and tired of sun. Like, I couldn't go outside for a walk because, like, one shoulder will burn. And I would literally send pictures to Jess, and I'll be like, how is this even possible? One shoulder burn and one side of my face, and I'm walking on, like, the sun's, like, directly hitting me, all of me, and just one side. The heat was just too much to take. I just couldn't, and because there was no swimming pool or anything to go to, I was like, nah, I need a bit of air or something.
That's the thing, there was no breeze at all.
And like my vagina would constantly sweat, and you know when you're wearing shorts or like a skirt or a dress, and then it's dripping, and then you feel like people are gonna think you're pissing yourself,
or it's like burning your thighs.
I got like a rash on my thighs because of the heat.
It's disgusting.
No, and like to sleep, it's the most uncomfortable situation. Like I didn't know what to do. There was a point that the day before
you slept on the floor.
The day before, Ollie went on the floor, I was on the floor, and we didn't know what to do. Like
the kids were on the floor.
There was only so many fans that we could bring out that they were just blowing.
They were blowing nothing.
Warm air.
Yes.
It was disgusting. And then the next day I just had enough, and that's when I asked Jesus to send us some rain. But then after that, I feel like he took it a bit serious.
A month later we were still having rain.
And then we went camping, and then everyone at camping was like, Erika, because like literally the tents were like blowing away. And I couldn't even moan because I'd be like, oh, que pereza, it's raining, and they'll all look at me like judging me. And Ollie, you know, my spouse, you'd think he would be on my back. Didn't you tell Jesus that you wanted rain? And I was like,
shut up.
Suck your mum. The audacity. But what you've been up to?
Well, apart from being very wet.
Sexually or like weatherly?
Well, do you know what? I'll be honest with you. This, remember the last few episodes I was saying to you that I was so ready to live my hot mom summer, and I was like finding escapism in alcohol and shit. Guys, I'm not an alcoholic, but I managed to pull through. I had the best summer ever. I was drunk most weekends, but I was working out I was working out 5 days a week, guys, and that is a lot for me. My trousers, I don't actually have to hold my muffin top in anymore. But again, I could have done better if I hadn't been drinking so much, because obviously the alcohol. And my sex drive just elevated. And I think it's because of the pole class, the course that we did.
Really?
And I feel like I was having this conversation with Mel, and I was saying to her that when, like, the first day that I went out, I actually dolled up. Like I actually put on makeup, put hair, put my heels back on, which I haven't worn for like
Sorry, you just
a
said
whole
you just said put hair. Like, did you? Are you bald or something?
heels,
Just
not
correct me.
hair.
You said put hair, put heels. You didn't say do your hair. You said put hair. So I could just imagine Jess that night taking off her wig and just bald.
Oh my god! I mean that too. But yeah, and I feel like that very first night when I did that, it just really it's almost like, you know, when Cinderella put her shoes on and then everything just went glitzy around her and she became that princess. I felt like that. I was like, oh my god, it's Jess, like it's Jessica before I had a child, and it just felt so great because it was like, why did I stop doing this? There was no reason apart from the pandemic, because who's going to be walking around their house in heels and all dressed up?
Yeah.
You'd probably go as far as having a nice mum bun and jeans just to check that you still fit in them, because everyone was bored eating. So yeah, I had a really good time. I reconnected with old friends and family members, and I felt like where I had emotionally abused myself, I feel like I was so numb, but now I feel like I've got that bit of life back in me, like that bit of bit of excitement. And Leo started nursery, of course.
Yes, tell us about it.
It was really, do you know what? He cried today on
Oh.
his third day, but he cried, apparently he cried like because his snack finished. And he wanted to take the little boy next to him, like his banana, and obviously he's obsessed with bananas, and the teacher was like, no, it's finished, you've had your snack, and he started crying, and apparently he went and walked into the corner and was just angry at the teacher. So obviously she's calm and she's like done her thing. I've gone to pick him up and she was just telling me about it, and she was like, oh yeah, the banana, and I think it triggered him to remember, and he started crying, and he was just like complaining to me that they didn't give him more banana. But he did great, he did really good. He didn't cry.
Did he do the full day today, or is that tomorrow?
Tomorrow, so we're recording Thursday, so yeah. Friday he'll be doing his first full day. He was more excited today than the second day. However, as I've been mentioning to you, I'm not letting that put my hopes up, because I know that sometimes they kind of backtrack a bit and realize, oh my god, this is like a daily occurrence now, like I don't like this, like, I want to stay home, and I feel like they start missing you. Also, hold on a minute, why did no one tell me that they become more clingy?
Yeah, because they don't see you as much. So
like today, yeah, he just wanted to hold my hand for absolutely everything, and I'm thinking obviously the teacher gives them that 110% attention like the whole time that he's there, and that interaction, whereas obviously at home you do that for a bit and then you do your things, and you know, he's at home, he knows how to go around. Today I picked him up, he hugged me, he wanted me to carry him home, he didn't want to let go of my hand, he wanted me to put him to nap, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't do this. I made lunch holding his hand. Like honestly. But I mean, yeah, we'll see how his first like 4 week goes, and I'll keep you guys updated. But as of yet, no tears. You might do. Like, it's like all of us though, no? We start excited in a new job, and then a month later you're like, fuck this.
A day later, more like oh god, what did I get myself into?
What?
Why did I think I wanted to work?
What about you?
Well, I mean, summer was busy, you know, working, still at home, but then slowly trying to transition into the office, and then just keeping the boys busy really. Joel had a few like crazy camps. Caden, obviously he went nursery throughout it all, but then we went camping, as I mentioned before, and it was really good. Like, I remember, like, I was never really a big fan of camping. I don't know, I just feel like I'm lazy as it is at home to get up, and I've always mentioned that I wish like I could give my pee to someone or point at them and then just transfer my pee to someone, or have like my vagina detach from my body and have someone just pour it into the toilet. I don't know, it's something I've always like, just kind of thought of it, because the thought of getting up when you're comfortable just because you need to pee is just so annoying. So it's
pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah, like why does it have to? Anyways, Ollie managed to convince me, because we did glamping previously to camping, so I thought, okay, and it was nice, you know, the kids really enjoyed it. And then that week, you know, one of our friends got us really excited about camping, and I was like, but then I saw Ollie really excited, and then, you know, buying the kids stuff, and I was like, okay, you know, I'm not gonna be the party pooper. I'm just gonna go ahead with it. And I've done a lot of camping with, like, throughout my life, because my parents, that was like kind of their way of, you know, when we didn't have like papeles,
when we were immigrants,
well, we still are, but I mean, when we
illegal immigrants,
yeah, when we were illegal, we didn't have the resources to go to another country, so camping was kind of like our escape. Every single, you know, the 6 weeks holidays, it was camping here, camping there. So I feel like you know, when like you burn out that kind of phase and you don't want to do it anymore, and, you know, why would I want to sleep on the floor when I have like a bed and stuff? But I've got to say, like, Ollie bought a really good tent, and I think it's just the atmosphere. I feel like that's how my parents perhaps saw me, and that's why they did it so much, because, you know, it's an open space, your kids are running around, they get to stay up late, and then it's like food here and food there, and it's just like a nice, and bear in mind that we had like really shit weather, so it was like literally thunderstorms and like winds 100 miles per hour. That the last night we were there, I was up from like 3 in the morning, because all I could hear was like
oh my god.
And then I looked at Ollie and I'm like, is the tent okay? Are we gonna we're not just gonna fly away? But yeah, no, I feel like the experience was really good. Like, I really enjoyed it, and I think just seeing my kids enjoy it. And then when we got home, Caden every single day was like, "Vamos for camping," and I'm like, "No."
And do you know what? It's just so nice to be like in touch with nature again, because we're so like, just, you think, oh god, like we have to sleep on the floor and stuff, but just even the air that you're breathing around is just so much nicer.
Yeah.
And you're not rushing anywhere. You're just like, just being back to basics, really.
Yeah. And it's like literally what you take is what you have. Not like when you're at home that, you know, you start like overthinking everything. Like there, it's like literally we took a bunch of food. We had, you know, barbecues. Nothing, like literally you'd think, oh no, we forgot this, or oh, we wish we could eat this. No.
Yeah.
Everything we wanted, we had it there. And it was like pretty simple.
And that's the trick, that when you go to these things or activities or experiences, if you go prepared, like actually prepared for what you're doing, you're set up to have a good time. It's not like, you know, if you've gone and imagine your tent would have flown off.
Well, that happened to
or
like
you didn't have anywhere to cook. No, I didn't want to make her feel bad.
You know who you are.
But but do you know what I mean? Or if like you go and you have diarrhea, and then it's like there's no toilet and there's no paper, and it's just like, oh, for fuck's sakes, like.
But even like our friend that, you know, her tent flooded, like whilst we were going to
it's
sleep.
all part of the story.
Yeah, it's part of the experience.
Yeah.
But like Ollie did say, guys, you know, camping is about you making it your own experience, because if you go with like bad equipment, just a sleeping bag, so you're literally sleeping just on the floor, not like, you know, an inflatable bed or anything, of course you're not going to have a good time. If you're going to go there expecting like five-star services, you're not going to have a good time.
Or like your city boy life in your head, like.
Yeah. Or like, oh, you know, like we can't make too much noise. You know, you can't do that. You know, we live in like flats, you know, apartments. We can't make noise at whatever o'clock we want to. So we all have to kind of respect, you know, we live with bricks. A tent is a tent, like you could hear things, so you know it's about showing the same respect you want to receive, kind of thing. But yeah, no, it was
well, nice. I guess it's not going to be any clapping this weekend.
No, there is 100%.
Oh,
Jess shaved her bum for this.
Are you going to tell them about your lockdown experience?
To my mum's house?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Ollie went for a bike ride, and then someone that he was with, I actually went back to work. That was the first day I went back to work, on the Monday. And I'm sitting down on my desk talking to one of my colleagues, the only other one that was in the office. And then I look at my phone and it's like, oh yeah, we've tested positive for coronavirus. And I'm like,
Your boss must have been like, no, you're taking the piss.
stop right there. Yeah, literally. And it was like a thing where I was like, I'm not going to go. Like, I've literally made such a big effort to come into the office. And he was literally like, Erika, you need to go. I was like, I think you're confused. I'm not going to go. Not a chance in the world. No, but I think it was that, you know, taking that first step to get there. You know, I got ready. I woke up early, put actual clothes on. I'm here. And then you're telling me I have to go. Like,
Yeah.
impossible. So I ran to like the boots in front of the workplace to get a lateral flow, and there's me like, you know, yanking my brain out through my nose, and then it's come back negative, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, you know, it's come back negative. I'm okay. The Tuesday I come back to work because I'm like, okay, you know, 2 days, woohoo, go me. And then like it was like 3 p.m. and Ollie messages me and he's like, oh, I don't know how to say this. And I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, I feel very sick. And I was like, oh, shut up. And I've gotten home and he started cooking. And then I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, have you not done a test? And he was like, no, I'll do one later. And I'm like, later? I was like, no, you're going to sit down and you're going to do a test. So we were both there literally looking at the table whilst the little pink thing was going up. As soon as we saw them two lying, I looked at him and I was like, oh! And I looked too close.
Yeah, let's stop breathing.
I put my fingers on my hands on my mouth, and I told the kids to run to the room. And then I did a lateral flow test on myself again, the kids, and then we came back negative. So we escaped to my parents' house. Ollie was dying at home, but he survived, so we don't have to say RIP to him. And then slowly, one by one, we must like started testing positive. Yeah. For me, I didn't get any symptoms bar like an itchy throat. And I recall so bad because I was always like with my mask on because I was taking care of my parents, and literally like I would sleep with the mask on, and then that morning I woke up and I was like but I felt like an itchy, like very itchy throat, and I was like, oh shit. And I've gone to take a test, negative. I waited a little bit longer and I took one like at 12. So I remember I was in a meeting, and then I could like, you know, when like you just can't, you como tiene como carraspera, and I was like and it was very sore, and I remember I had like one of those locket things in my mouth to kind of soothe it, but then I was like, no, this is not normal. And I've taken another lateral one and it was positive, and I was like, oh shit. And then I was literally the last one.
How weird though that it was the same
day, yeah,
but different time.
Yeah, it's very weird. And luckily, like, the only one that didn't catch it was Caden.
Yeah, I feel like they don't get it, you know.
Oh, Joel got it.
But he's older. Like, his immune system is older.
Our niece got it.
I'm just chatting. Yeah, that's true. I'm just chatting up.
Well, I think with us, as soon as, like, Joel and my dad tested positive, because they were, like, after Ollie, I said to my parents, I was like, we all need to wear a mask. And I was like, and I remember after the itchy throat, like a few days later, I could only smell bleach and like mucus. And I was like, what is that? But I felt like for me, it was because I kept bleaching everything because, you know, Caden was still like around and I didn't want him to be infected. And then, yeah, like, do you know, like this NHS track thing? Yeah. It's absolutely bizarre. So obviously we've all done a PCR test. My PCR test came back negative. The Caden's one came back negative and my mum's came back negative. It was only Ollie, Jojo and my dad that came back positive, right? Mm-hmm. You're not allowed to do another PCR test for 90 days. And then the lady told me that how I shouldn't do the lateral flows. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, yeah, no, don't. Because then what's going to happen is you guys are just going to go in a whirlwind of like isolation. Because obviously, so my dad tested positive, Joel tested positive. If my mum tests positive afterwards, that will add more days to them, so they will still have to isolate. Yeah. And then I was like, but you do realize we're in a house where there's 2 people that have coronavirus. So if you're telling me and you're telling other people that once their PCR test comes back negative to not test ever again for another 90 days, do you know how many people are spreading the virus? And then kids don't isolate, so like Caden wouldn't have to isolate at all.
Which is bizarre because remember when I asked you, so he's just going about his life.
They said to me, they were like, do you want accommodation for him? And I was like, with who? They were like, just for him. And I'm like, what
the hell? He's 3.
So he's going to be by himself?
Honestly, they're pathetic.
And I was so confused. I was like, what is wrong with you people? He's literally 3 years old. Where is he going to go? They also told me if like Joel needed like a mental health call, and I'm like, he's 6 years old. If you ask him what's wrong, he's probably going to say my mum doesn't let me play Nintendo, and that's as far as his problems go. I just went on with my life as normal, really. And I feel like maybe perhaps that's why I didn't really get sick.
Yeah.
I just kept up on the adrenaline. I think once the 10 days were over, I kind of felt it. Like I felt like
lethargic.
Yeah, like very like tired. I felt very out of breath. It was very weird. Very, very weird.
It's nice to know that you've got some sort of immunity for the next few days.
Well, you know, talking about that, yeah. So, you know, my parents are double vaxxed.
Oh, my God.
And like my mum...
have they been told that they need a 3rd shot?
My dad does, because he's got Pfizer. But anyways, like, so my dad was really like, so why the hell are we getting vaccinated? You know, I still feel very sick. And there was me going on with my life like nothing. And I remember like they were ones to always say to me, Erika, you need to get vaccinated. This is not something you play around with. And I was like, Dad, I just don't trust it. Like, I'm not... You know, like, I feel like...
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying that I'm never going to get it done. But I just don't really trust it at the moment. Anyways, we've all got it now. My mum's, like, bedbound.
Oh, my God, did you get vaxxed?
No, we've all got, like,
you all got COVID. Okay.
My mum's bedbound, and I'm still, like, roaming around the house, you know, trying to keep Joel and Caden occupied, you know, cleaning like a maniac and stuff. And my dad's like... You know, so what is the point of getting vaccinated? Erika hasn't got vaccinated and she's, you know, fine. So what is the point of, you know, getting vaccinated? So I was like, oh, I don't know. Anyways, my dad was talking to this guy, who got it really bad, like when it first, like coronavirus started. So he was one of those ones that were like stuck to a ventilator and stuff. And I can understand that, you know, everyone's circumstances are very different. But, like, you know, my mum has very, like, really bad underlying health conditions. Like, she's got asthma, diabetes, and loads of other stuff. And I feel like for everything that she has, she got it really good. Like, she just had, like, you know, when you have, like body aches, like a body ache, like when, you know, when after you have a fever that your body just really hurts.
Yeah.
She felt that. She had vomiting, but, like, very mild. And then like a sore throat, but nothing else. Like, she didn't get fever, she didn't, nothing. My dad got fever for a few days, but he's very like, you know, he's more of that energy type. So he's like, if I stay in bed and where he's got like a really bad back, he was like, that's gonna kill me. So what my dad would do, he would just like roam up and down, and he was always in charge. So as soon as we all got it, he was like, if I don't go out of the house, I'm gonna go insane. And I feel like that's what's gonna break me. Coronavirus isn't like, my mental health is going to deteriorate if I stay at home. So he would wake up really early, so say like 5 a.m. he would go out with Blacks and Walker, obviously with a mask and stuff, and then come back. And at night as well, he would always wait for like 10, 11 p.m. and then he'll go give her like a long walk. And I feel like that really helped him. And I know like the advice is to stay at home and stuff, but he always ensured that he wasn't in contact with anything, and he wore gloves so he wasn't directly touching anything. And like this guy that my dad was talking to, he would just say so many things, because my dad was like, you know, I don't really believe in that it's that dangerous as they're saying. I feel like it's just the fear that gets into people, and it gets to your mind, that it kind of like makes people become sick, because it's like we've touched on this. We've touched on this before. You know, if we never get told, if I have like, say like, God forbid, but say like I have cancer, right? If I don't get told I have cancer, I'll go on with my life until, you know, I can. Yes, I'll eventually die because I probably won't get treatment for it. But as soon as I get told I've got cancer, everything's going to start hurting me. It's the same with pregnancy. You don't find out you're pregnant, you can go 9 months without feeling one thing. as soon as you're told you're pregnant, oh, I'm nauseous,
Yeah.
this, this
It's all a
hurts.
psychological game, isn't it?
And this man tried to say, because my dad was like, the NHS people, I was like, what do I take? They were like, if you call the GP for like, you know, a cold, whatever, there's always something that you can take for this. You ask the NHS, what do I take for COVID? They say, oh, just drink water or take paracetamol. And my dad was like, something that's killing people. You're telling me
Yeah.
you just drink water, stay at home and take paracetamol. That's what's going to help you to stay alive. And then this man goes, oh no, do you know what's happening? The government haven't told anyone, but they're putting antibiotics in the water. So apparently we're all drinking antibiotics in the water.
Is he old?
He's old. And it took me back to, you know, when we used to get those messages like a helicopter was going to go past, spraying everyone.
Oh my God, spray, yeah. Oh, we were fools.
Idiots.
I feel like we just have to be grateful that we got it and we've come out okay with it. And I feel like at this point, it's just, you know, whatever you want to believe.
I feel like it is true.
However you feel comfortable. Yeah,
there is something
definitely,
but I just don't think it's as severe as people make it out to be. Because even with like this whole underlying health conditions, you know, my mum really got freaked out because my mum has asthma. So even when she gets like a cold, she gets asthma attacks and stuff. And this time round, I mean, it was normal for her. Like, she kind of knew what to do, but like I'm saying, I'm grateful that she didn't get any worse. And there are some people that do get really bad. But I don't know, it's just really difficult to understand.
Pinpoint.
Yeah, how it is that people get to that severity of, you know, being hospitalized and stuff and not have oxygen inside them. I honestly don't know. But I definitely believe it's something out there. Because I still can't taste or smell anything.
Oh, it's going to take about 3 weeks.
It's been 3 weeks. Still can't do it. I can taste like a little bit. Like yesterday at work, I had like this diffuser, you know, the white company. And I'm always like this to it. And yesterday, some man went past and I was going like this to it. And then he looked at me and he was like,
drunkie.
What are you doing? And I was like, oh, I just can't smell. And he was like, but you don't do that. Like, what? And he's just like very confused. He's like, I'm just going to pretend I didn't see anything.
Mama, I love you.
Obviously, a lot of things have happened in this world that just, you know, when you just can't keep up with everything and you just feel like, oh my God, when is this movie ever going to end?
It's very sad. Like, you know, every year that we like, you know, 2020 is going to be the shit. 2021 going to be this.
It just gets worse.
It's like, what on earth is going on?
But do you feel, that, I mean, obviously, like, this is our reality, we see what we see on the news, we know things are happening, we perceive them how we want and how our mentality takes it, right, and our personality. But do you think that downplays on your way of being happy, even though it's not directly affecting you?
I think with social media in itself, you need to take it just a little bit with a little pinch of salt, because the media only show us what they want you to see. Say like with this Taliban thing and stuff, we can only see what they are showing us, you know. It could be 10 times worse, but we won't know that. And I feel like it does really, like, sometimes it does put like you to think, like, you know, we're so ungrateful at times, you know, we complain of like the dumbest things. But at the same time, you can't let it consume you. You know, we still have got lives to live. We can't always, like, you know, dwell on what's happening. Because I remember we got really consumed with, like, the stuff that was happening in Colombia. And we were in one chat and we were in the other one. And we were spreading awareness here, there, and everywhere. And then, you know, seeing things, Jess's family went through stuff. My family went through stuff. And it was like, it came to a point that we couldn't take anymore. We couldn't take in any more news that was happening. And I remember we started removing ourselves from these groups because we were like, it's just going to drive us insane. But yeah, there are some things that, you know, do consume you more than others. Like, for example, this Texas law thing, because I'm a woman, you know, I don't live in Texas, but it just angers me that politicians and, you know, men have this power over us. It just kind of shows that our lives are going to be controlled by these politicians all the time. Like, you know, it's not affecting us directly at the moment, but at any given point, what if the UK turn around and say, you know, we agree with this or we agree with that? And then, you know, now it becomes our problem because this is something that's going to affect us, whether, you know, we ever go for an abortion or not. But it's just given us that kind of like choice. So there are certain things that do affect you more than others.
And I feel like, say with the Texas law, it's like, yeah, it's not affecting us directly, but if the women there can't stand, like their voices aren't loud enough to take these laws down, the government will just continue. So it's just like I feel like the bit of humanity that you have in you can only, basically, you can louder their voices by also fighting for them, because their hands are tied. Like if some, like you said, if Boris comes and says we're not allowed abortion, he'll probably be like, oh, what was it he used to say with COVID? Stay home. If you want to stay home, stay home. If you need to go out, go out. But I feel like, as much as you want to show awareness or you want to repost, and I feel like it does get tiring at one point, because you also feel like what you're doing is not helping. It's like the other day, remember when England lost and everyone was saying, oh, don't repost the negative stuff because that's what's going on everyone's Instagram and you're giving it more attention. And it's like, okay, I get it. But also we can't turn the blind side to it, because then these people that are doing the negative things are going to feel like they can get away with it. So it's just a really thin line in any situation. And I just think like it's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I was asking this because I was actually going to ask you, if you knew the date and time that you were going to die in 5 years' time, would you live your life differently? Or is there something you would do that you wouldn't do if you knew you were going to die in 5 years' time?
I think I would live it differently. I'll just like YOLO everything, but with precaution. I wouldn't just go jump out of a plane. But I definitely will. Like, I feel like sometimes, I don't know, like it just in itself, like with things, going back to normality, like brackets, I'm spending less time with the boys because they've both gone back to school, so I'm not going to be able to take them all the time. So it's those little things that make me realize how much a blessing in disguise COVID was. We always joke around that, it was a nightmare and stuff, but we're never going to get these moments back. We're only going to get busier in the transition of the years and stuff. And I just think I'll just appreciate them more.
I wanted to ask that because I wanted to, like, for all our listeners to actually take that question into, like, reflect on their life, because it's like, we always say, if we die tomorrow, what would we do? And we'd want to do all the things that hold us, that we don't do. And it's kind of like, but why don't you do that? We always make excuses for things that we like to do, and it's like, in reality, unless you're actually broken homeless, of course you're not going to be able to do certain things. But I mean, for instance, if you like to take walks down the Thames every single Sunday morning, but you don't do it every Sunday morning, it's like, what is actually holding you back from doing that? And I feel like, obviously, with everything that's going on around the world at the moment, all the negative things and all the positive things as well, I feel like it's nice to reflect sometimes.
Definitely.
Like, the thing is, we just take tomorrow for granted. And I know I always say this, and I know that I take it for granted so much, because you always think, oh yeah, I'll see you on Monday. But I feel like you just always have to remind yourself constantly. It's like putting an alarm on your phone every single day to be like, why, like you said, like living YOLO. If tomorrow your friend invites you out, why are you going to say no?
Yeah. Sometimes, again, we take for granted those things that, we think, oh, I'm going to do it. I'll do that tomorrow. Oh, we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
But how can you know that you're not going to cross the road and that's it? Everything you planned for tomorrow and for the following week, gone. Can never do again.
And if I was to say, what if you're going to die this time tomorrow, your response 100%, and everyone listening is probably going to be like, I would go and spend the last hours with my loved ones, right?
Absolutely.
Because that's all we want to ever do.
Yeah. But most of us are always consumed by our phones, or we're just too busy to actually take that in and spend that quality time. Yeah.
We're not connected. But even if you do, I feel like, and even if you do have the quality, like, say for instance, when you guys went camping, you guys enjoyed that weekend, you were disconnected from everything out, you were living that moment. However, living it thinking, oh my God, we should do this in 2 months' time and next weekend, and it's like,
what if it doesn't happen?
Yeah, or did you really go home and think, I felt so fulfilled with that whole weekend? I'm pretty sure you did.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes we find something like, oh, it could have been like this, or it could have been like that, or like, you know, our friend's tent that it got flooded.
Yeah. But even she said, she was like, it just added to the experience.
Exactly. They could have taken it like so negative. Oh my God, we're never doing this again. Or they could have laughed about it and just filled their life with that very moment.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a deep enough conversation to catch up with everyone listening. If you're still listening to us, oh my God.
If not, you're a hater. But you wouldn't hear this, so.
Oh my God, you have got some telling off to do before we close this episode.
Also, yeah, for those people that you will pick breastfeeding for 18 years rather than like cleaning your child's poo, you are disgusting. Because I was talking to Moo and I was like, hang on a minute, all these people don't realize that you're gonna, like, so let's say you got a boy, right? He's gonna go out on a night. He's gonna go out. What? How am I saying it? He's gonna go out.
Yeah, he's going out on a night.
He's gonna go out.
He's gonna have a night out.
Oh, he's gonna have a night out. He's gonna have a night out with his boys and probably gonna go have sex, right? But he's gonna come before all this and say to you, Ma, me le puedo pegar a la teta just before I leave. So he's gonna be
basically
18-year-old man.
Said, can I suck your tits?
18-year-old man. He'll probably just be like laying on you, like sitting down, like with his head on your what's this called again? Legs. You rather that than clean than their poo.
So you rather have your son bent over so you can wipe his ass of like diarrhea
100%.
shit, or like imagine he had red kidney beans.
100%.
And imagine his arsehole is really hairy. Imagine his arsehole is really hairy.
That's why wipes exist. I'll take cleaning shit.
Yeah, I would too.
Can you imagine how saggy your tits will be, like going around your neck 10 times of how saggy they'll be? Or you're outside and your kid wants to drink, but he doesn't have some, so you just have to whip your 10 feet long nipple out.
Oh my God, imagine that you've taken your mum out for Mother's Day and you're like, all right, can I have my dessert, mum? And you just start sucking her tits.
Imagine.
Or what if his girlfriend comes around and he's just there like, oh, hey baby, let me just have my milk. I'll suck your tits when we get to the bedroom.
That is disgusting.
That is disturbing.
We are actually sick in the head. Do you know that?
I don't know how you come up with these things, honestly, guys. When all the would you rathers are always Erika, so please, at her, not.
That was actually Ollie. He told me. I asked him yesterday. I was sat like eating, and I was like, Ollie, help me with would you rathers, and he was like, do you actually want me to help you? Because Ollie's like really X-rated, and I was like, no, we can't do any rude ones.
It's been a pleasure being back. We hope you have had a great weekend. Have a great Monday if you're listening in the morning, whatever time you're listening. We hope you're having a great day. Stay tuned for many more episodes. Please share all the episodes that you like with your friends. Tell your friends to share it. Help us get to more people. And yeah, thank you so much for all the support and for waiting for us to come back from our little break.
Yes, thanks so much. We love you all.
As always, we'll be back every Monday morning. Mama's Code out.
Mama's Code.